Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about my wish list for the Wheel of Time. So I have the last third of the series to go through. I have about another 3 or 4 books left. So I want to kind of talk about my big desires for the series as it's wrapping up. Now these wishes won't exactly be for the ending itself, but they're going to be for, different events that I really want to happen along the way, approaching the ending. So I've basically boiled this down to the top 5 things that I want to happen, basically to avoid me rambling and nitpicking about small details for like the next 40 minutes. So we're going to just stick to these 5 main things that I really want to happen. So, as always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and let's begin. So this list is going to go from 5 to 1. 5 being something that I really want to happen, but I can totally live without it happening, and 1 being something I'm like, please, like please, when I'm like really, really begging to happen. So let's start off with number 5. I really, really want to see a romance that's not insta love. Every relationship that has come up in the Wheel of Time so far has been a relationship that is like, okay, I like you like me, let's get married. We're just married now. And it's just been like the most insta love kind of thing that I can think of. And it's been driving me a little nuts. Like some of the relationships, I was like, okay, whatever, insta love, I can, just kind of brush it off or whatever. But when it's basically happening with all the characters, I'm like, come on now. Like we need more depth. We need, some good back and forth and stuff. So far my hope for that storyline is coming from Matt and Tuon, because their interactions in Crossroads of Twilight gives me this implication that there's going to be a lot more back and forth with them. There's going to be this almost cat and mouse kind of thing. Even though they're technically halfway married already, it's going to be like, it feels like there's more to it. There's more play back and forth kind of thing. So that feels more like a proper courtship and stuff, and I'm more interested in that. So I'm hoping that one is going to satisfy my desire for number 5. So number 4. Number 4 is something I really want to happen, more so than the insta love thing, but at this rate, I'm kind of just going off track record and I'm not really expecting it to happen. That's why it's at number 4. And what I want for number 4 is I want to see the Forsaken, the rest of the Chosen, work together and literally be a threat. I need them to justify this huge, like, there are like children's fairy tales, and they're like, they're the figures that parents tell their children about to get them to behave and stuff. Like they're these terrifying people of legend and stuff, and they have proven themselves to be incredibly incompetent. Some of them are very threatening on their own in their own situation, but as a group, they're incredibly incompetent. So I just really want a situation where they all work together and actually do something, like either deal a severe blow to our heroes, or like at least all of them like work together to take out that Murdral thing that claims to be the avatar of Balsamon. And that could either be like a way they figure out that it actually is an avatar of him, or like they actually get rid of him or whatever. And like, it'll all of that kind of, like, I just want them to do something together to justify their threat, because so far they're just bumbling, and I'm like, and I just want more of it. I just want more justification. Like at one point I was very afraid of them every time they popped up, and then I was just like, whatever, like, like they're just they're such a non-threat to me right now. So I just really want them to all come together as a group, show some competence, and do something interesting. Like part of me is like, even if it messes up the plans of our heroes or whatever, I just want to see them, their power, their knowledge, their age. I just need to see it justified. Like that is my whole issue with it. So yeah, that's my number 4. I need the Forsaken to be a credible threat. So let's go ahead and move on to number 3. Number 3 is, of course, right there in the middle. And this is something that I really do want a lot, but like at this point, based on the way it's set up, I would understand if I don't get it. But I really, really want it. So, and that has to be more Wolf Brother stuff. So the biggest thing we got from the Wolf Brother stuff really was in Lord of Chaos during the Battle of Demise Well. And I just kind of want more to come from it. Like I want, because there seems to have been this setup of Perrin having to deal with his wolf nature. Like there's always this threat of him becoming more wolf than man and all this stuff. At least that was the implication early on when he first met Elias and stuff. But like a lot of that, that struggle and all of that stuff just doesn't seem to be there anymore. So I want some kind of solid conclusion to that concept and that idea. And like I would just in general, I just want more wolves, period. Like, but I just want more of that internal conflict issue to like come to a head and actually have some sort of ramification. Like either, I mean, I don't know, like just something. I just because it feels like just I don't know. It feels too simple right now. It just feels too straightforward. Like the wolves are being underused. He doesn't seem to have any other greater ability with the wolf abilities or anything. Him being able to go into Tel'aran'rhiod Real has like not mattered like at all. Like he has a couple wolf dreams or whatever, but like it hasn't had the effect that I would expect this kind of setup to have. Like a lot of Matt stuff has had major payoff and like has like just done all these interesting things for him, but like Perrin, he basically got Fael. And I mean, I'm assuming there's more to come in these last few books, but I need more of that wolf stuff to be like concluded and to like come to a head and actually like matter because it feels like a throwaway thing to me right now, and I just kind of need more from it. So I really want that to happen, but I feel like the way the abilities are set up, it's kind of one of those things that nobody truly understands and nobody's really ever going to truly understand. So there's not going to be any real explanation about it at all. And that's kind of where I think it's going to head, but I really, really hope I'm wrong because I just really need that conflict and that internal issue that Perrin is having about being a wolf brother. And I need that fear that was set up early on to actually have some teeth. I need it to have some sort of ramification in order for me to be satisfied with that entire plot line, really. Let's go. We're down to our final two. So number 2, my second to last, like my penultimate wish, the thing I really want to happen, but not as bad as the last thing. I really, 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 really want Rand's insanity to have some sort of like some interesting conclusion and explanation, I guess. So the Lews Therin Telamon and his head thing. So the little bit of Rand that we get in Crossroads of Twilight basically confirms that Lews Therin is still in his head. But I'm not certain if what that time frame was. I'm not certain if it has to be after because it was in the epilogue. So I'm assuming that's definitely after the power has been cleansed. So if he still has that in his head, that means that insanity is separate from the taint, the corruption or whatever, which is something I always speculated anyway because it's like a magical insanity based on, souls. It seems like he's got 2 souls in his body, 2 brains in his head or whatever. But in any case, I just want that to be explained nicely. I want to understand what that situation is, like how the if that is the soul and actual consciousness of Lews Therin in his head, and it's like even after you cleanse the one power, like does it not matter at all and that kind of stuff. I mean, like would it matter at all because times is I just there's just so many little questions and things. I'm gonna ramble a little bit at the end, a little bit more than I already am. I'm gonna ramble a little bit at the end about just some of the little things that leaves me confused and like I fear not being tied up entirely. So yes, number 2 is I really want Rand's insanity. I really want Rand's possession by Lews Therin to like come to some kind of conclusion and have like a solid explanation as to what it is and all the implications of it to be like either explained or implied in explanation or something like that. So the number one thing that I really, really want to happen in this series is I want a gigantic epic battle conclusion that justifies a 14-book series. So I have like, there's so many things that are set up. Basically, Jordan gave himself all these toys to play with, and I just really want him to properly play with them all. I want like all the groups to basically participate in the I more or less I want like the last 3 books to be just all battle. Like I want the last 3 books to basically be Tarmangating, and like I want something like the Supergirls come together like after a couple of them have kids or whatever. Like I want the Supergirls to come together and like justify those 3 women being insanely powerful. I want that to be justified by like them taking on all the Forsaken or something, like and them just bodying the crap out of the rest of the Forsaken that are alive or something. Or like I want I want Rand, I want like the Aes Sedai and the kinswomen and like the Windfinders and stuff. Like I want all of them to be like working together, circled up, and just taking on a crap ton of shadow spawn over here, and then have Matt's armies with all the humans and stuff dealing with like the Trollocs and whatnot, like having them do that. Then have Perrin and Elias's like ridiculous wolf pack, like I want them providing backup and stuff. And then I want like Rand with that. Well, I don't think he can use the Chuadon call, that melted, or did only the female one of them melted and he can't use it. But like I want Rand versus Baalzamon, some epic crazy. I just want like all of these things that are being set up, I want them to be properly played with throughout the conclusion. I want all these different setups to like get their time to shine and like have all this kind of stuff. I'd even be okay with like an epilogue of like jumping far ahead in the future and like we see some of the Aes Sedai that we know like retire and like go off with the kinswomen or something. Like I just want all of this world building that's been set up and built up to pay off and like have their spaces. I want all these different groups to have like strategic importance basically. And because to me it feels like you're setting all this stuff up, that means that you're going to use all of this stuff. So I just really need all of it to have, it's, you know, Shai-Chan over here with the kinswomen, maybe like they're working the Shan-Chan, not Shai-Chan, I've been saying it wrong forever. The Shan-Chan, like they have, you know, all their channelers or whatever no longer in the IDOM and all that kind of crap. We get rid of all of that. Like have them just all like just be epic. Like, cause it's just, I don't know. Yeah. I want a incredibly epic conclusion to this incredibly epic series, I guess is the best way to say it. And it just feels like such an obvious kind of, you know, anybody wants that. That's what everybody will want and that stuff. But I actually get to the point sometimes where I fear that that's not what's going to happen. Because there's sometimes Jordan has done some things that are like, just, it's so specifically him that is like, you have like different expectations based on reading history and whatnot and different writing styles and stuff. So when it then doesn't go anywhere near that direction, you're just like, what? Like, it's like some of the things he'll set up, like I expect to end up getting paid off in the next book or at the latest the book after that. But it's like 4 books later, we're just now making moves to do that thing that we set up back then. So there's like, but you also are running out of books. So it's like you kind of have to. And it's just like, I'm sorry, I'm just so rambly right now. I feel like most of this doesn't even make any kind of sense. But yeah, that's kind of like where my brain has been going on it. Like every time I even try to think of this, like I wrote notes and stuff and tried to be very concise and everything. And my brain still just ends up rambling everything because one thought leads to another thought, leads to another thought, leads to another. And I just end up like doing this. So yeah. So that's pretty much my little rambly bit about the stuff that I want to happen towards the end of the series. I only have a few books left, and some of the stuff seems like it can definitely go in that direction, but some of it feels like it's just going to kind of get, like, it's just going to fall off. It's just going to kind of, you know, get left by the wayside or whatever. And I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen. You know, I can't wait to be proven wrong. My original number one thing was Moraine's resurrection, like Moraine coming back to life. But I guess at this point I have to give up on that happening because we're so far into the series and stuff now. And I'm like, it's just like I don't know. She seems to be dead. Like nobody's talking about her. Nobody's bringing her back up. There's like, so it's just like, it seems like it's just me over here looking over everybody's head. Like, where's that blue gem and stuff? Like I just got to kind of accept it or whatever, let it go. But that was my original number one, like the resurrection of Moraine. But after I did this painting, I basically told myself like, let it go. Just kind of, you know, accept it and just read the series or whatever. So yeah. But another thing that I was thinking about that like constantly gets me thinking, because it's also something that is more or less presented in the show. So another thing that I wanted to kind of tack on at the end here is this concept of time being a wheel. So considering like it's the start of a new age but the end of another age, and like it's the, you know, basically the whole concept of it seems to be that like time is cyclical. A lot of this stuff repeats. That's why like the dragon's reborn and blah 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 blah. Granted, I guess there has to be a scenario wherein like stuff happens again but not really. Like the world was broken last time, so I guess the world can be mended this time. I think that's what they're going for, because otherwise you kind of get screwed up. Because, like, if Lews Therin came back, you know, and possessed Rand, then why would Rand not come back and possess somebody in another 3,000 years? Like, the one power has been cleansed and, like, the taint is gone and stuff. So wouldn't that also then means somebody's going to do that same crap again at some point and cause Shaitan to be able to touch the power again and corrupt it again? Like, how cyclical and repetitive is this? I guess is my question. Like, will the power get corrupted again? Will there be another dragon in another 3,000 years or whatever? Like, how much of a wheel is time? Like, how much of it? I guess that's something that I have to, get to book 14, Memory of Light, to learn. But that's kind of one of the things that's been in my head lately, because the way the show kind of plays with that a little bit has me questioning things. So yeah, I'm deep in ramble territory, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this short because now I'm just spewing nonsense. So here's a little preview of what a live stream will be like. It's just me going blah, 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 blah. So yeah. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and end this. Leave me a comment for the YouTube algorithm, but don't confirm or deny anything that I'm speculating here. Don't spoil anything. But yeah, so as always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will talk to y'all next time. Peace.